Okay, I'm back and we're taking big steps here tonight. I'm not sure if this I'm going to change this lighting around a little bit. So this is kind of we're changing things up, moving to the ground with Spry. I'm going to change the lighting so I'm not blinded, but I also wanted to get lighting to work well here. So I'm going to see if, looks like we got a couple people coming on. Jerry's on. So I'm a little bit away from the camera right now, so it's going to be hard for me to see if there's questions and things coming on. Travis is in. Travis and Laura from over in Mondovi. If you've got questions, fire away. I'll dig into them after. With me being away from the camera a little bit, it's going to make it a little bit harder for me to see, especially as people come on. Krista Yisker's on. So we're getting a few people. Tonight, I'm going to take a step and I move Spry off of the freezer. Going to give her feet back. So most of you, I think, have been following along with this. We're in the middle of hold conditioning, I would say. Good evening, Jeff. Jeff is in. Jeff Trudell. Jeff Bragg is in. Our Jeffs are in together. We're kind of in the middle of hold conditioning, I would say. First, coming off of the freezers or elevated spot where it kind of takes our dog's confidence away a little bit, allows for them to focus on us a little bit. Nicole Larson is in. Good evening, Nicole. Chad is in. I'm going to try to tip this down if I can. I don't know if you can. Let me know if you can see Spry here. When she lays down, you probably can't. But if I have to, I'll lower this down a little bit before we get going. I might be able to do that just tipping the front here. So we'll work the kinks out of this. It's a new spot for us to do this live. It's in my garage, so it's not that new, I guess, but behind the camera is where we were doing it on the freezer. So now we've moved her out and we're putting her on the floor. So just like when we start out on the freezer, I make sure I get some focus out of her. She hasn't done anything, normally as we do some training exercises, we kind of connect from a station to a station to a station, and they all kind of relate to each other, and I try to build them in my mind so that they build off of each other into like a circuit. By the time we get done, we'll hold conditioning. We don't do that. I had her in her kennel. She already ate tonight. She was with us to Mighty Pet this morning, so she got a little bit of work in at Mighty Pet. You'll see some more videos. I haven't had a chance to share nearly all the good stuff that I've gotten so far from Mighty Pet. We're doing a project up in Michigan with a store up there, and man, we're getting some really good stuff. I've got hours now of content that I'll be sharing with you guys. So she was with us for that this morning, but when I bring her in, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for her to just settle in. And this isn't where we worked on this. This isn't where we work on this. This isn't where we build this. Nicole, I know Nicole Larson is in. Nicole and I talked a little bit yesterday. We still have to connect again on a conversation, but this isn't where I practice doing nothing. I've been practicing doing nothing everywhere, constantly, for months now, so that I get this. Because I did all that stuff early on, is why I'm able to do this now. Now, if you missed it early on and you don't have it, that's where you start. So Nicole has heard me talk about that a lot, and you guys have heard me talk about that some with that as well. Come on. So she can't be antsy. She's got work to do. Putting her on the ground gives her the ability to have a whole lot more distraction. She's smelling all sorts of stuff. She feels like if she wants to, she could walk away right now. This is nothing more than a remote sit. Remote sit, if you want to see remote sit, we started with it about probably number 15 or so in Live with Spry. We're on 108. So if we can't get remote sit, and you want to be at 108 or comparable or close to where we are right now with her training, you better start back over at 1, regardless of how old your dog is. And you got to get all these parts and pieces in order to do 108. So this is where all that stuff comes back, and it's so important. And I think a lot of people, when we started Live with Spry, after about the 10th night of me doing about the same thing, or very similar to the same thing, and just barely making changes and barely building off of it, I think a lot of people said, God, he does the same thing over and over and over again. You're damn right I do. The reason I do it is because I'm always adding a little bit, but the reason I do it is because if I don't have all that stuff, I can't do this stuff. And I got the big vision of down the road, what do I want to do? And then down the road, what do I need to have in my bag in order to get there? This is where remote sit comes in. So she's got to just sit here. And you can see on the ground, she's a lot more able to, She wants to creep out and find something. Come here. She's a lot more apt to be able to move around. There's stuff on the ground here. When I had her on the freezer, there was no distractions. So by just simply putting her on the ground, we've added quite an element of challenge here. That's why we don't start here. So now I feel like we've spent enough time. I'm going to say we're into week 3. I don't know how many live holds we've done. Probably 10 to 12, I'd guess. But let's say whatever it is, now we're here. So now it's like I'm starting over with number 1, so I'm going with the wooden dowel. And if you're wondering, what do you mean you're going to the wooden dowel? Look at number 1 of hold conditioning and you'll understand this. So I'm going to start out with her. Come here. And I don't have a lead on her. If I have to, I'll put a little collar on her, a little slip lead and leash, but I'm going to see if I can get away without it. Remember when I started on the freezer, she was tethered. It was to keep her from being able to move on me. Now I'm going to see if I can't get her. Then I took it off, and then I moved her around and all that stuff. Now we're going to start back with a wooden dowel in a nice little position here. And I'm going to go right in with it. Hold. I'm not going to talk so much anymore to you guys. I'm going to work with her. Hold. 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 Good. Hold. Nice position. Hold. By me being up above her, her head even comes up even more naturally and nicer. Hold. Why do you think I was so adamant about that head position on the freezer? Because right now it's paying off. Hold. Because if she wanted to spit it, if your dog wanted to spit it, and it had a tendency of keeping its head down, and she decided she wanted to put her head down and spit it, there's not a chance in the world that I could get underneath it to catch it. Hold. So I got to get it right up there before I can get it right here. Hold. Hold. Dead. Good. Sit. Now she lets it go and she goes, all right, that was fun. And she wants to go. Sit. And I'm actually going to have to slow down a little bit myself. I feel like I'm a little bit tense right now. Sit. And I think she'll feed that way, off of that. Good. Had a question the other night. Hold. Now she's moved position. You'll notice on the camera, now she's over here. Before she was right here. I'm going to let her do that right now because I'm not going to get too picky yet on that. But eventually I'm going to have her spin around because that'll be how I end that delivery. Hold. Chin up a little bit. Hold. 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 Very good. I like her in this position because you should be able to see her little tail wag when I change my tone. Good. There it is. Good. There it is. Good. Very good. Hold. Hold. By me changing that tone just a little bit, she's understanding this is what I'm supposed to do. If she were to spit it out right now, I'd be just as quick to be correcting. Hold. Hold. Good. Hold. Very good. Hold. Get it up. Good. Dead. Very good. Now I'll let her move a little bit. Look at the freedom I'm giving. Not too much. Let me sit. Kind of allows her to reset. It's a lot to ask of her to be on the ground right now and not move any feet at all. So after she does it, yeah, that's your little bit of a reward. As long as I can get her right back in and get her under control, I'll let her move and adjust. Come back to me. That's a nice little practice. You go away, I call you back. You go away, I call you back. Hold. Dowel goes in, hold. Now the first two have been really nice. Hold. Hold. Good. when she's where I want her to be, I'll let her know. Good girl. Good. Hold. 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 Good girl. Hold. I love her focus. Hold. 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 Good. Good girl. Hold. Hold. Nice little reminder there. As soon as her head comes down, I'm not taking it. I don't want to get into the habit of that. Hold. Hold. Very good. Thank you. Hold. Good. Hold. Hold. I don't want her to get in the habit of me coming down and her going, spit it out, spit it out, spit it out. Hold. So I'll remind her as I come in and it makes it look like I'm going to take it. Hold. Good girl. Hold. Good. Dead. Good. And that distinct tone changes and then she's going to spit. Now, someone asked me the other day about their dog, I think it was Jeff Williams maybe, asked me about my dog is taking it out of my hand. Is that good or bad or indifferent? Come here. I said, well, I don't mind willingness to take it. I don't mind that at all. But I do mind the idea, and I think you just have to be careful of, like if I bring this up to one of my older dogs, they're real likely to kind of reach out and open their mouth and let me put it right in. I don't mind that at all. What I don't want to get into a habit, especially with a young dog, is the habit of taking something out of my hand. So I said, I don't mind it as long as it's on your terms. And what I think you got to be careful of is if you get to the point where it kind of gets to that gray line or that tipping point where it becomes you take it and he's snatching it out of your hands. He's real willing, and I don't mind that, but I really don't like the idea of him dictating when he's going to take something out of my hands or not. So I think you got to be careful with that. With a younger one especially, I prefer it to not be like that. Stephanie joined in. I see. I notice my wife is watching, and she's commenting as dog bone. So we got a pretty good number. Do me a favor, guys, if you would share. This is a great time to get people aware of what we're doing, whether they're hold conditioning or not. There's a ton of other value in the Live with Spry series, which you can see on our YouTube channel. It's probably the easiest way to see them all. But we're up to 108, so there's a ton of stuff out there, and it's free. You won't be able to complain about the price of it. But it's a lot of information. So if you know someone, I think, that is struggling with some of their dog stuff, whatever it is, there's probably some value in them spending, if they're willing to put the time in, to watching it. And then, if you watch these, you can memorize them, you can do anything you want. It won't help if you don't actually do the stuff with your dog. So remember that. But do me a favor, if you would share. I think it's a great way to grow it. There's a nice little change. So that's the first time tonight she's decided to go, you know what? I'm going to be here a little while. I can tell he's not going to let me just run around in the garage. I love that. So this is where the value of all that groundwork that we did with number 20 through 50 probably. We talked a lot about doing this. And so this is where it pays off because I'm not training this anymore. This is a habit. This is a habit that allows for me to do this. The next part of the training. And you know what this part of the training is for? So that I can make really, really nice retrieves down the road without having to worry about running off or switching or dropping short or victory laps or any of that stuff. So this is all like sequential. We need certain things to go to certain things. So this is just a step in it. But if you have questions, fire away now because I'm gonna have a chance to answer them after. So I'm gonna get her up. Come on. And I'm actually gonna maybe push the envelope a little bit. I don't think we've gone too long. Hold. 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 When I switch over to her, I'm on her. So I slow everything down. Hold. What I'd like to do is give her a little bit of space. Hold. This is that next step. This is what I'm saying is I'm going to push the envelope a little bit maybe. But she's telling me that we might be ready for it. Hold. So when I say a little bit of space, it's one step. It's not much. Hold. But that's a lot different than this. That little bit is a lot of difference to her. Hold. Hold. It's not only tonight, hold. And am I getting her to understand she's got to do the same thing she did on the freezer down here on the ground? But I'm also giving her the idea that with all the extra stuff that's going on the ground, he can move away from me, and I can't change my behavior because of it. And this is moving away. She's over an arm's length away. That's distance. People talk about hold. Hold. I think a lot of times people want lots of stuff, big stuff, fast, quick. Young dogs doing old dog stuff. I think people get excited about that. I know what happens when you do that. You'll be back with lots of problems. So holes are created that need to be holed. Holes are created that need to be filled in when you go too fast. So this is distance. If I told the average person, you know, the next step you would do is I'd put some distance in between you and your dog, a lot of people would back up 10 feet. Hold. I will back up 10 feet eventually. Hold. But if you go 10 feet to start out with, and there's a problem, what are you going to do about it? Hold. Nothing. So make it 1 foot, and then 2 foot, and then 4 foot, and then 8 foot, and then 10 foot, and make sure you get to 10. Because then you'll be able to go to 100. Hold. But you'll have to take steps to get there. Hold. Notice this one's a lot longer too. A little bit of distance and a lot longer time. She's got a tendency to want to put her head down. So before I get going too much further with it, we'll get that fixed. Hold. 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 Very nice. Hold. Good. Hold. Dead. That's a good girl. Now, she can stretch out a little bit. Come here. No, 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 no. Come here. And sit. Now, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to see if we got questions. I'm going to have her sit. I'm going to, well, I guess I'll hold on to it. I might get tired. Sit down. So I'm going to have her sit now during this. Mike's got a question at the end, so let me scroll up here, guys. I did see a bunch of people writing stuff, and it could have been just my wife, I guess. But Matt Green joined in. Jeff Bragg and Jeff Trudell were in. Jerry Sorensen, the lighting's good on our end. Well, I'm glad. Thank you for that, Jeff. Nicole got in. Chad got in. Mike Schulte got in. Jeff got in and shared it. Mike shared it. Travis and Laura are in. Come here. Sit. I'm going to do a little... I'm going to move her. So I'm going to do this. Spin this around. This will make it easier on me. So I'm going to spin this around and let you watch her. So you'll see everything I see. You can see she would much prefer to go somewhere else right now. But now I can scroll through this. Taylor, I got a little bit of a cold, so I apologize for the clearing of the throat constantly. Tara Ricka, back again, shared, of course. Appreciate that. Hunter Hutnick, glad to make it, and you're in live, Hunter. Dan is in. Jeff Trudell, retrieving is finally clicking with Thor. Had a solid session last night. About time for whole conditioning to start now. Okay, so when I read that, Jeff, I'm happy. Makes me happy. The reason it makes me happy is because sometimes we don't know how long it's going to take, but when it does, when you're there, you're there. And now you'll know what's coming next is remember what that felt like. Okay? So, one good session isn't enough for me to move on yet, Jeff. But build off of that good session, in my opinion. Build off of it, and then get into hold. So if you can string together a week of that, awesome. Then I'd get into a little hold conditioning. But you know your dog better than I do. Rocky's in, Cody's in, Nicholas is in, Josh got in. Mike Schulte, you ready for the ride, Jeff? I'm a little nervous about it. Hold conditioning isn't bad. I make it into a way bigger deal than I should, I suppose. I just don't like it. I mean, it's not that I'm not going to say it's hard. I just don't like it. Steve got in. Steve, how are the grouse? Save me a few up in the Northwoods, please.
Finally got Ruger doing some water retrieves with a soft antler. Awesome, Josh. Nicole, my problem isn't the dog, it's the people around me that aren't helping me train. I agree wholeheartedly. Went somewhere new today, same crap, so I had to remove Maverick from the situation. I'm surrounded by idiots. If I say don't touch my dog, I mean don't touch him, even with his do not pet harness on. So, yeah, that's a different issue, Nicole. I do think it's affecting things greatly. So what I'm going to say is keep looking for the place to go. There's got it. The great state of Minnesota has to have a place that you can go that has people that you can be relatively close to and not get in the way. And if it comes down to it, you may need to recruit some help. You know people. You have friends. You have friends of friends. Recruit them to be dummies for you. And when I say dummies, I mean like actors. Have them be your socializing. Have them be your environment to work in. Brocky says, I videoed all my hold sessions. It took 2 weeks to get her to hold the dowel steady with no head movement. Awesome. I'm excited. I'm glad about that, Rocky, because some people... Now, I hope you're telling me that not in a negative way, because I think some people would say, and I'm not reading it this way. I don't think you're saying it this way. But some people would say, it took me 2 weeks just to get her to hold the dummy. Good. It could have took 3. It only took 2. So that's awesome. Now build on that. So keep. Where are you at, Rocky, with it? Are you still in the process with it? Sit down. Mark Phelps joined in late. Troy got in. Carol's in. Guess what came in today, Carol? Ron Herring is in. Trevor Barrett's in. Steph got in. James Lewis joined. Steph commented. Has dog bones. Nicole is in. Vicky, hi there. I watch even though I'm past this step. Come on now, Vicky. There's got to be better things going on, right? No, Vicky is a great supporter of what we're doing here, so I appreciate that. Free is all I can afford, says Mike. Well, Price is Right and Live with Spry. Love how she watches you waiting for what's next, says Steph. Boy, she's really full of them tonight, isn't she? Chris Tatis joined in. Charlie got in. Jay got in. What can I do to make it more comfortable on the freezer? He freaks out, especially on the tether. Don't do anything. Just put him up there. So stop trying to do anything further, Mike. Just get him up there. And your session can be settling in. So just because you get him up there doesn't mean you got to do hold. You probably won't be able to do hold real well until he gets settled in. So that's your first step. That's your first step, is to have him settle in. And once he settles in, man, it gets a lot easier. So it might take some time, Mike, but get him up there, settle him in. And that doesn't mean coddle him and pet him and, oh, you're okay. No, just get him up there and he'll figure it out. It just takes time. And sometimes it takes us telling him, hey, deal with it. How did I get him to settle in when I first tied him out? I left him alone. Let him figure it out. How did I let my dog settle in when I put him in their kennel for the first time? They cried bloody murder. I left him in there. Let him figure it out. So sometimes the first step of this might not be anything to do with a wooden dowel. It may just be simply be getting him settled into that spot. So that's your first chore, Mike. Now, Mike, I saw a video of it. It didn't look that bad. So has he gotten less and less comfortable, or that's my question. In about 15 minutes, I'm joining the lab club. Putting down a down payment on a Wild Rose Red. There you go, Nicole. Using it as my motivation to finish school. So I'll be rewatching all these. Well, that's the beauty of it. They will be here forever. We're going to keep adding a bunch more. So congratulations to you. KM Cutters is in. Have an 18-inch dowel, okay, or too long? 18 inches is probably... This end is probably 12. 18 is maybe a little bit long. I don't know. I guess I'd see how he does. I'd maybe go down a little bit. I don't think mine are much over 12 to 14 tops. But 18, eventually 18 will work. I mean, eventually it doesn't, you're going to use anything. So, but 18 might be a little bit big for little Thor. I'd maybe go a little bit shorter. Kyle Stifler got in. The retrieving session from last night is locked in my head for future reference. Perfect. I heard McGoldens are good for a scratchy throat. I don't even know what a McGolden is. Is that like a McDonald's thing? Just subscribed to your YouTube. Thank you for posting previous videos. Yes, Jerry. Thank you for bringing that up. You guys, if you guys would do me a favor and subscribe to the YouTube thing. We don't use YouTube very much. I think we should. I wish we could more. There's ways of doing YouTube live videos, and I've talked about and thought about doing them. I'll be honest with you, we don't have enough followers to go live on YouTube because we just don't use it. And so we've recently started migrating a lot of information to YouTube, a lot of content stuff. So there's actually going to be unique content on YouTube as opposed to the social pages. So if you guys would do me a favor, go to our YouTube. It's at Dogbone Hunter. And subscribe to it. And as soon as, I think I could get to 1,000, which isn't that many. As soon as we get to 1,000, then I can use it. It opens up a lot of options that I can use it for. And I plan on doing that. So if you're a YouTube user, do me a favor if you would check our YouTube channel out and subscribe to it. And then I can use it a little bit to do a little bit more, have more flexibility with some of the options that it has. Ben got in. Ben, how is Ben down south, man? Ben's a friend of ours from down at Wild Rose. Carol got in, and she's excited. She's very excited for bowling, and I'm very excited for her team. I've started Dusty on hold, and she's having trouble with head down. Trying to keep her head up, but she's having trouble. Any advice or other technique? Yeah, it's easy. You just put your hand under her chin, Trevor. She can't put it down. So when you get into it, I'm not going to put the dowel in, but right here, just get like that. She just can't put her head down. So when they want to duck out, duck out, duck out, duck out, duck out, we keep it here, and I can feel her pressure. And when she stops putting the pressure on, when she puts it on, I lift it back up. And as soon as I put the hand down and don't touch it anymore, I can feel the pressure. Like she's resting on me right now. There. So what I would do is, it'd be right here until I got to here, and then I'd say, good. And all of a sudden her chin would go down, and I'd be right here. Good. If her chin came down, I'd be right there. Good. So look at that little bit of change. This has just turned into a little drill. Hold. And if her head comes down with my hand, then I just bring it back up until I can drop it down and her chin stays. And when it does, good. And then you can give a little reassurance. Good. So you gotta take control of the situation. Robbie Schmidt joined in. Yes, since that video has gotten worse, and for no reason with a short tether, he will literally spin himself and hang from the tether. So I wouldn't even think about doing any hold stuff until I get that dog settled in. That's your goal. Your objective is every day, maybe twice a day. I mean, you can do hold conditioning more than once a day. I don't have hardly enough time to get it in once a day, but you could do it twice a day and probably move along a lot quicker. I just physically don't have the time. I mean, look at what time I'm doing it now, and I'm not done with the day yet. So what I would do, Mike, is try to figure out a couple minutes. Probably sit down. Probably won't take much, but there, I got someone from New York calling. Couple minutes and put the dog up on that table, and now your goal right now, Mike, has nothing to do with hold except settling in on the table. Offer still stands about coming down to show you how to bow hunt. Coming down to show you. Now, Hunter, you must be the one who threw it at me on Instagram. I was hanging some stands, and I think he told me he's gonna show me how to do some bow hunting. Where are you from, Hunter? Mick Golden Ultra, Mike says. What's that mean? No. I can cut the wooden dowel. It was free. I was thinking it was a bit too long, but it was free. Hey, sometimes free is my favorite. Jordan joined in. Do you condition hold on a goose or let them learn how to do it themselves? Vicky, I think that's a great question. I'm gonna back her up because she's crowding me. Sit. Great question, and I'm gonna do a live, and because you asked it, Vicky, it's gonna get done tomorrow. I had David Snipes asked me today about goose, retrieving geese. His little dog will retrieve them, obviously, in the water, really nice. He sent a video, but wants to drop them as soon as he gets to the shore. And he's got a little wild rose dog that's 44 pounds. Sit down. So I just had to change and get serious with her. And his dog doesn't want to pick it up out of the water. And he'll bring it to the shore, but then she won't hold it. I think it's a she. So I'm going to show you guys how I overcame that years ago. I was a cheap college kid. Now I'm a cheap not college kid. But I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have money to get training dummies. They make them that are the size of a goose. I couldn't afford that stuff. So, and I didn't think I needed it, quite honestly. So what I did was I came up with this way of simulating and getting to the point where I don't think it was an issue physically. I think my dog could do it. I knew my dog could do it. I think they were a little intimidated by it mentally. The thing was about the size of them. So I had this little dog that I started out with. She was a retrieving machine, and she wouldn't pick up geese for me. And so I think it was mental more than physical, and I figured out a way that I kind of got her over that. So David had asked about it, and now Vicky, you asking, not that exact question, but a similar question. Tomorrow I'm going to show you how I get my dogs, and I still do it today. I do it the same. I did it with Ellie, and I did it with Taylor to get them to pick them up. But I'll show you how I do that. I didn't actually hold condition with a goose with them. I certainly think you could. And Vicky, I know your dogs are through hold condition, I'm pretty sure. So I think you could just go back to it and use a frozen bird or a partially thawed bird or eventually a fresh killed bird too. But could you do it and just kind of add this little last chapter in on it? Yeah, I think you could. But I'll show you tomorrow. I'm going to film it. I'm going to try to do it live. If I can't do it live, I'll just record it and I'll post it. But I wanted to do that. It's a little thing that I came up with because I had to figure some way of doing it out, and it worked pretty good. So you'll see that coming. I'll just stay at it with what I'm doing. I'll stay patient. There you go, Trevor. Patience is the word. Yeah, that's me. I'm from PA. That'll be a long haul for me. So hunters from PA. I don't know, man. There's a lot of hunters from over there. Sounds good. Appreciate the whole part is getting better, but not sure why is being up there is a challenge at first. I don't know either, and I don't think it matters. Just figure it out, Mike. That's all. And that might just take a little while of getting him settled in. But boy, once he settles in, watch how quickly it'll go. So you got to find that settle first. Vicky said, thanks, you bet. Amanda joined in. Amanda showed us some success that she's having with some place training. She's got a little pup, and she sent us a picture of some place training that's got going on, which kind of sparked a couple other people doing some place training, and I got some really good videos and pictures sent in, so I appreciate all of that. Only about 16 hours on her. That must be their PA trip. All right, guys, I got through all the challenges, the questions. Appreciate your support again. I'm still working on a project. If you guys or anyone you know is a tracker, has interest in tracking, bow seasons are open up all over, and I have 5 or 6 different people send messages already in double digits of actual deer that were recovered, with people that said they had trained using our stuff. And so I've got a little project that I'm working on right now that I'm going to be bringing to you guys soon, and it's for anyone who's thinking about training a tracking dog, anyone who has trained a tracking dog, anyone who maybe even is thinking about it. What I want to do is, I'm not looking at doing this to try to create a bunch of tracking services, and I know it's a touchy subject, and I've heard a lot of these hardcore tracking guys. Oh, you ruin the name of trackers when you just have a bunch of people out there tracking with dogs. I completely disagree with it, and I feel pretty strongly about that. And so the reason I say that is because tracking services, I think, will always have a place, and they're super valuable. And the guys that have them are super dedicated to it, and they are that very small percentage of any skill or craft that takes it to an extreme level. But I also think there's places for everyone else to do it as well, and it's not a threat. And I think a lot of people feel threatened by it. That's my personal opinion. But the reason I say it is because there's a lot of people that won't call to pay a tracker to come and track a yearling doe that they shot. In my opinion, that yearling doe needs to be recovered just as much as if it were a booner. And so these dogs are hands down the most effective and efficient conservation tool we have available to us. Even an untrained one is better than nothing. So if we can put in a little bit of training in them, I'm telling you right now, and I'm kind of letting the cat out of the bag a little bit, but I'm telling you right now, you won't believe the number of people that will use their dog to find a deer that they otherwise wouldn't have found this year. Will they find every deer that's shot? No, because they don't all die. But when they are dead, the chances of recovering it are so much greater that I'm going to push every single person that owns a dog to put in just a little bit of work. I'm not asking you to become a professional tracker, but if it allows to save one deer, find one deer that doesn't go spoiled or wasted, to me it's well worth it. So that's my mission. We are now into that season, and I'm going to have you guys be able to come right along with us, because this one right here will track for the first. Look how that little tail goes. I just push her button and she wags. But you guys will go right along with us on some of our first tracks with her. And she's real young, and I've got even younger dogs with me that we're gonna be training, that you're gonna learn about here real shortly. And so I'm gonna spread it out amongst the different ages of people that have dogs, whether they're little puppies all the way up to older dogs. So it's something that I just feel super strongly about, and there's so many good resources out there. There's no reason that we shouldn't be able to find a lot more deer this season that otherwise would have gone to waste. So that's my Cliff Notes version of what the project that we're working on, and I'm going to ask all of you guys to help me build the awareness on it. So that's it for tonight. Chase said, missed the beginning watching the Foundation TV. Chase, I think we were messaging back and forth. You sent me, I don't know if you sent me a video or not. I know we messaged because I recognize your profile picture. Carol says, we started with Val this weekend. She did well on her first track. So there are so many people that are doing this, and I think one of the biggest struggles, I should get off of it, but I think one of the biggest struggles is people think that I have to train the dog to be a tracker because I'm a trainer. And the reality is you wouldn't believe how many people that are not trainers by trade are finding success training their dogs. And so what I'm going to ask all of you that have done it is I'm going to ask you guys to help me push kind of these people over the edge and say, you know what, I'm going to give it a try because Carol did it. And Carol found success, why can't I? And Tim found success, and John found success, and David found success. All these people that have found success, and that's what I think is going to be, that's the easiest way to motivate someone to say, hey, I got a dog just like yours. I got as much or maybe less training experience than you may have, and we were able to do it. It is not that hard. And I'm telling you right now, it's not that hard. So I say it at the risk of some guys being very offended by that. And trust me, I've been down the road long enough with them, had enough conversations with them. Those who feel threatened are always going to feel threatened. There's a lot of really, really good trackers with a ton of knowledge that want to share it. And so we'll get you connected to that, and you're going to have so many resources you won't know what to do with it. So you guys have a great night. We're going to sign off. Now, as I get excited like that, you see my little dog? Let's go. So as soon as I get done with this, I usually stand here for another 30 seconds or a minute, and I make her go, I think we're going to go, but we're not. And then when she settles back in, then we move. So you guys have a great night. Lots of blue thumbs. I love it and I appreciate it. Thank you for all your support. Keep working on your dogs. I'll keep working on mine. Talk to you soon.